if I told you you could run 2 Minn Kota trolling motors with just one iPilot remote and save yourself 200 bucks? Sounds simple, right? Well, not exactly. My plan was straightforward: demonstrate how easy it is to pair a remote with both motors, and I'd be ready to post this video. But then the trouble started. First, my battery connection failed. Next, no matter how I pressed the pair button, nothing happened. And then my biggest foobar yet? Well, you'll have to watch the video to see that. Yeah, sparks didn't fly, but my loser symbol sure did pop up.
Hey, this is Captain Kevin, and you might just learn something new here today.
In this video, I'm taking you through the chaos, the fixes, and the secret to making one remote control 2 motors. Because if I can pull it off after this mess, anyone can. So let's get started.
So in today's learning adventure, I'm going to share my experience with the iPilot remote controllers, where I should be able to use one remote with my 2 trolling motors. So I have 2 Minn Kota trolling motors. I have this Riptide trolling motor. This is the auto deploy model. I had some issues with this a couple years ago. Sent it into the shop, and when I was guiding, I had to have another trolling motor so I could stay on the water and keep working. So I went and bought this Minn Kota Terrova, which is a self-deploy model, and this is the one now I use when I go offshore fishing, and keep it as a backup in the truck in case this auto deploy one fails me again. The issue I ran into is this is the remote I have for the Riptide, and it got dropped once or twice, maybe 3 times, and the little brackets where the screws go into broke. So I tried to JB weld them, tried a couple different glues, and they don't hold up to the everyday fishing adventures that we go on. And this last time that this one died, I went and looked to see about buying a new one, and they're over 200 bucks. So I've always kept this other one paired with the Terrova. And then I got the idea of, well, could I run both trolling motors with the one iPilot system? And everything I've read is that I should be able to do it. So today we're going to go through this. I've never done this before, so we're going to see if this will actually work. I'm going to try to pair this remote. So this one I'll keep as a backup. It'll still work. It's just not very conducive with that, tape on the back and holding it. I can keep it on the boat as a backup in case this one fails me or runs out of battery. But let's turn this one on. So of course there's no motor found because there's nothing turned on right now. So this little setup block that I've got back here on the back of my boat, this is kind of my workbench for my trolling motors that I built. I use this mount for my splasher, my downrigger. Now I've rigged it up so that I can put my trolling motors on the back, and I can do test runs, have it deploy, and test it out and make sure it's working. So I've got this wired in, clipped into my 24 volt battery system. And so let's turn this on, and it's not going to turn on. Interesting. Okay, so let's see if my battery is not connected. That's my positive connection, and this is my negative connection. These are my 2 cables that go out to the trolling motor. And then if I clip it in there, that should be my system, unless my 24 volt batteries are totally dead. But we'll check that in a second. Huh. Get nothing. I've been out of town for about 10 days, so anything's possible. I haven't been on the boat in a while. So let's turn this one on. Let's see if this one will power up. Nope, that one won't power up. So I just noticed that this power cable fell out of the back of this connection, so that could definitely be why it's not working. All right, so now that clip is back in there. All right, let's see if that was the problem. Oh, it's like when I plug it in, it pushed that piece out. So that might have been it. Wow, look at that. That was it. That little connector piece, when I was plugging it together, was getting pushed back out. So make sure both of those are connected in there. This is the one we want to pair. Okay, so we got a good page down. I want to go to System. There's the pair option. So I'm going to do the check mark. I'm scanning for the motor. So what I need to do now is come up here and hit the pair button while I'm trying to pair. Okay, so I believe I just paired that. All right, the other thing we need to pair is the compass. So up in the front here, I've got the compass that allows me to do the jog function. Okay, so I won't be able to tell if it paired with this yet until I deploy it. So let's go deploy it. That compass is on. Okay, so motor's in there, so we're going to deploy. So we've deployed it. Okay, so now we're going to go back to home. Let's turn the trolling motor on. Okay, now we're going to hit the anchor point, and I do have the plus and minus and the jog function. So when I paired it with this remote, I did have my compass on. With the remote, it paired with both the remote and the compass up front at the same time. So again, this remote was paired with this other Terrova trolling motor, and I just switched it over and went to this. All right, so we have paired it to this device, or to this one. Now let's turn this one off, and let's change trolling motors. So now we're gonna plug in this one, and we're going to power this one on. So this one now should not show up. Oh, look at that! I just plugged both trolling motors together. That's not what I wanted to do. Duh. I need to plug it into power. All right, there we go. Okay, powered that one on now. And this one now should... Okay, so motor is not found, which is expected because I have it paired with this one. So now I'm going to page down. I'm going to go to System. I'm going to select pair, and I'm going to hit the pair button. Boom. Okay. And it did not find it, or it did not pair. So let's go back and try that again. Pair, scanning for motor. Back, motor not found. Well, that's not good. Scanning for motor. Okay, so I was holding the button in, so evidently you just need to push it in and let it go, and then it did find it. So now it says that the motor is stowed, and so it does see it. Okay, so there, I just switched from my Ulterra back to my Terrova. That worked. So now we're going to switch back over to the Riptide. and we're going to stow it then once we pair with it. So that's out of the way. So now we'll plug it back together. That's the old one. This is the new one. This is back to the Riptide motor, and we have motor not found. So now we're going to page down, go to system, go to pair, and we're gonna hit, oh no, now the pair button's up there. I have to go get my ladder and stand up there and hit it. All right, so again, we're going to pair. Okay, gotta hold it in for, looks like about 2 seconds, and then it paired with it. Back. Okay, and if I hit the let's hit the anchor again, and again I've got the jog function enabled. So it's paired with the compass and it's paired with the trolling motor. So now we're gonna stow it. All right, we are stowed. And then we can power this off. All right, that's a wrap for switching the remote from 2 different Minn Kota trolling motors. If you want to see my video on how I repaired this and reset this after I had the batteries die on one of the trips, watch that video over here about how I fixed that trolling motor.